up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a hump day edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. A few minutes late getting started today, and my apologies for that. Was a guest on Crane and Company, so big shout out to Jake, Blaine, and Cone, and the fellas. Appreciate them as always for having me. If you're not subscribed up to the Crane and Company YouTube channel, highly recommend it. Love the boys. They're awesome. They do a great job. So get on over to the Crane and Company YouTube channel and subscribe up there and catch their show when you can, live or on demand. So we and I have the description of the episode today that I hate the college football playoff ranking show because on the episode just now we did talk a little LSU Bama, but the guys also asked me. Well, we talked about Halloween candy, and then they also asked me about the college football playoff rankings that were revealed last night, and I did not watch the show. Got off of AFR, drove home. Whole family was here. We did the trick or treat thing. Had the World Series game on. It was a blowout after 2 innings or 3 innings, and put on some college football and were out by the fire outside last night and just poured a few whiskeys show. And I jumped in. It was like, I didn't even watch it. I guarantee they did something wacky. Like we all expect it to be Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State. And I guarantee you that's not the top 4 because they always have to do something based on game control or strength of record or something like that, a defensive efficiency metrics. And sure enough, who do they have? Ohio State number 1. They had Ohio State number 1. So, shocker, the committee of goons that sit in a suburban Dallas hotel ballroom and debate things, former ADs and former coaches debate things like defensive efficiency metrics and completion percentage as to why a team should be ranked where they are in the playoff, came up with something foolish. So I don't care about the college football playoff rankings, and you shouldn't either. They are wholly irrelevant. I'll bring this up again. If you go back to 2014, the very first year ever of the college football playoff, the very first ever rankings that they came out with, there were not 1, not 2, but 3 schools from the SEC West that were in those rankings. And the college football world collectively melted that 3 teams from the same division were in these rankings. And you know who they were? Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Auburn. You know how many of them made the college football playoff? None of them made the college football playoff because the initial rankings are absolutely pointless. We have so much football still to play throughout November and then the championship weekend as well. 5 full weekends of college football still to play. There will be upsets. There are going to be hundreds of more football games that will determine how this stuff is all going to play out, and it will become very apparent to us all when we get there. Cone asked me about, what about LSU because of where they start now? What if LSU ends up going 10-2 and beats Georgia in the SEC championship game? Could they leave out the SEC champion? SEC champion's never been left out, but you know what? If you have a whole bunch of undefeated or one-loss conference champions that have a really good strength of schedule and record, yeah, they could be left out. And LSU would have a compelling case, but we won't know until we get there. And honestly, none of that matters if LSU doesn't win the game on Saturday in Tuscaloosa. So I do not care at all, not one bit, one iota, about the college football playoff ranking show, and neither should you. So let's talk LSU Bama, trade deadline, and whatever else y'all got on y'all's plates. We got to move quickly. I got about 15 minutes here, so let's blow and go. We appreciate y'all. Bob Poole, Jerry DeLucky, what's good? Craig Digga. We in the Gizzards of Bama hate week. Stone Cold Brian Kelly's getting the boys ready. Let's go. I love it. With AI being so powerful, why not leave the college football ranking to AI? You know what, Craig? I'm not opposed to it. Like people always crapped on the BCS, but the BCS never got it wrong. I mean, we all talked about how these computers were deciding this. Like, the BCS never got it wrong. So, I am not opposed to having an expanded playoff where the playoff rankings are determined by a predetermined metric, be it the BCS formula, AI, whatever. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I would be okay. My bigger concern is the amount of teams that have a chance to play for a championship. Like, the expanded playoff is going to be a great thing for college football. And the whole, well, every week's a playoff in college football. No, it's not. Fundamentally false. If that's the case, then LSU hasn't been playing for anything. If that's the case, LSU's season was over before the calendar flipped to September because they lost that game to Florida State. So, no, I fundamentally disagree with that. So, it's more about, okay, well, every week wins, losses, the regular season matters because who gets a bye? Who gets a home playoff game on their campus? All of that matters into what you're playing for to get in, seeding, and it keeps more teams interested all the way through. And then there's the argument, well, you had the argument like in the NCAA tournament, if you have 68 teams, well, then you're always going to have people that get left out that are complaining. Well, I'm not sympathetic to team 69, 70, 71 the way I am now to team 5, 6, 7 who have a legitimate argument of being in. When you have Power 5 conference champions that don't even have an opportunity to play in the playoff, you're disincentivizing teams from scheduling tough teams. Like the way this season plays out, like let's say hypothetically LSU does win out. Hypothetically, wins out and doesn't get in the playoff. You have now disincentivized LSU from ever scheduling a game like Florida State again because you said, we go and schedule tough to start the season, we lose that game, and our season's over? Why schedule that game? I could have scheduled Central Florida or Florida International instead of Florida State, taken my win, gotten my payday in a home game, and moved on. Okay. Garland Harold, morning, Matt. Regards from a snowy Wednesday morning in Chicago. All right, Garland, drive safely around there. Brant Roban, good morning. Listened to some Bama sports shows earlier. The fans' comments sound very anxious about how Bama is going to stop Jaden and the wide receivers. They should be, because they're not going to stop Jaden Daniels and the wide receivers. This game is actually pretty easy to figure out. If you average about 10 possessions a game, can LSU get 2 stops a half? So if Bama scores on 6 possessions, can you limit them with 3 touchdowns, 3 field goals? That puts them at right around 30 points. Maybe 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals, puts them at 34. And if that's the case, can you score 35 or 40? I think that's what it comes down to. I don't think we're going to see a lot of stops in this game. I don't think LSU's defense is going to stop Bama, and I don't think Bama's going to stop LSU. I think you're going to see a lot of offense, and it's really going to come down to who can string together scoring possessions sandwiched around defensive stops to build themselves a lead and make the other team play catch up. Hey, Dad, Bubba Smith, good morning. Craig Dugas, the BCS was fun. It was fun. It worked great for LSU in the SEC. Jackson Howard said, go Oregon. Okay. Eric Hart, what's up, man? Think Catholic could take down Zachary tomorrow night? Sure, Eric. I can't say that I've watched a ton of either school this year. I know Brew always does a good job over at Zachary. I love the Bears too, man. Bears got enough talent to beat anybody. So let's see if they can put it together. That'd be great. Kelly Gross, what's up? Josh DeVilliers. Morning, Matt. Have you heard anything on Jameis getting traded to the Vikings, or was that bogus? So the trade deadline ended, was yesterday, Josh. So the trade deadline's passed. Jameis did not get traded. There was never any credible report of Jameis being traded or of the Vikings showing interest. I talked about it on AFR because I thought it was something the Saints should explore, because you're very likely not going to have Jameis back after this season. He signed a 1-year deal. So if that's the case, you get something for him now. And if you're Minnesota, you bring in a guy that's got tons of starting experience and might be able to help you stay on a playoff track. But it didn't happen. Trade deadline was yesterday. Josh Higginbotham, what's up? Antron Hemingway, good morning. Wendell Norman, Irfan Sayad, Wacky Chris, Low Main, what up? Jared Weems, morning, Matt. I wish everybody asked good questions like you at press conferences. You're the best. Thank you, Jared. That's very kind of you. Your check's in the mail. Let's see. I'm convinced the world hates LSU. The world doesn't hate LSU. That's a very defeatist mentality. LSU gets tons of benefit of doubt. I just think it's a very defeatist mentality to think if things don't go right, it's that everybody hates you. I don't think everybody hates you. I think LSU gets tons of respect. You know what? One thing I've learned, and y'all are seeing it right now. I don't know if this bothers you. It bothers me. You could tell that my sweaters have all been on hangers for 8 months because I got all the little hanger marks now. I hope it like lays down as the day goes on. I don't like having those little bumps right there. But that's what happens when your sweaters are on hangers for 8 months. I probably should have like taken them off the hangers, like folded them and put them like in a closet or something for the warm weather months, but I just left them on hangers and now I got these hanger marks. Let's see. Strong side. Good morning, Scone. Tell me how Iowa State is ranked number one. Don't care. Don't know. Don't care. Where we started, the playoff rankings right now are wholly irrelevant. Does not matter one iota. Not a bit. Matt Plavidal. Morning, Matt. Love the cold weather at the post office. That's, Matt, thought about that. That's actually really true. I wonder about that though for the postal workers, if like the mail carriers, if you're actually like out on a mail route. Like, do you want it? I would imagine like super cold wouldn't be good though, right? That's I told you that summer that I sold books door to door in Minnesota. Our host family, it was a lady, Kim Danks was her name, and Kim, who was a single mom, Kim and her kiddos lived there, and Kim was a mail carrier, but where she lived, she walked her mail route. So she was very fit. I mean, you're walking like miles and miles and miles every single day. But I thought about that, like, what do you do when it's snowing? Like, you carrying the mail in the snow? God bless. Jerry G, Raiders fire McDaniels and Ziegler. Did that happen overnight? Or are you suggesting that will happen? Oh, no, they did. Wow. Yeah, that's a good move. They really screwed up, man. Their interim coach was, Josh McDaniels is the worst head coach in the NFL, rivaled only by Dennis Allen. Not surprised at all that the Raiders fired Josh McDaniels. Maybe the timing's a little odd, but McDaniels is twice a failed head coach. He's far better an OC. He's similar to Dennis Allen, lieutenant, not a general. I'm only a little surprised at the timing there. All right, let's see. Oh, Drew's backpack's beeping. Oh, sorry. Hang on 1 second for me. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. He got a little tangled up in his wires. Took me a little while there. Sorry. Okay. Please smash the like button if you're on YouTube. Please subscribe up to the post. Facebook, or subscribe to the channel. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. As always, shout to Brock and Hudco. You know what P is called Brock. Need roof. Give us a shout out, Hudco. Brad David, good morning. Why do you think Brian Kelly goes on Paul Feinbaum's show every Monday? I think coaches don't like talking to the media unless they have to. Some don't mind, and sometimes it's I mean, I always believe you take every opportunity you can get to put your brand out there. Look at Nick Saban doing the Pat McAfee show. I don't know if Saban's being paid for that, but it's irrelevant. I mean, Pat McAfee's audience skews younger, and he's exposing himself to a gigantic audience. So you have the opportunity. I don't understand why coaches would ever pass on those opportunities. I understand you can't do everything, but there's ones that make sense to do. Gorilla, Gregory, Gordy, Damon Gilmore. Jimmy going off on McElwain was hilarious. That was. Last night, Jimmy was making fun of Jim McElwain at the end of the show on Honor Locks. Andrew, good morning. Andrew, I don't know if you're just trying to get me to say your last name and it's like a jumbled name, if that's really your last name. If it is, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but anyway. Good morning from Nash Vegas. Okay. Likey Rock says smash the like button. Let's see, a couple more here. Gulf South, I do love that Georgia or Michigan was not number one. Catholics played a tougher schedule than either of those teams so far. That's true. Catholic played a very, very tough schedule. The game I called was the Warren Easton game, and Catholic got run. They couldn't tackle those 2 kids from Warren Easton, who were really good players. So there's something to be said for playing a really tough schedule, but I think Zachary's a really good team too. Shane, big fella, JN3, Andy Whitaker, Vegas has used AI for many years to determine lines. AI is not new in sports prediction. Bailey C, Abner Neal, good morning. What time do you start morning soon? Usually start at 7:30 Central Time. Taylor Hudson, morning, Matt. Just joining. What did y'all end up doing for Halloween? So the family comes over to our house. We host Halloween. So only Reese and Olivia came. Eli was with friends. Sophia was with friends. Of the kids, I mean. But then, Mimi and Papa, my dad came over. My mom had surgery on her Achilles, so she's still not up and moving. But all Erica's sisters came over and their husbands and all. So we kind of had the family over, which is fun. We just ordered pizza, lit the fire pit out in the back, and handed out candy, and just had to watch sports. Had a good night. So fun time. One more minute. Let's see. How concerned are you with injuries on defense? Does Bama have any key players out for this game? Gregory, I'm not concerned about the injuries on defense, and it's not that I'm diminishing the importance of Zy Alexander and Mekhi Wingo. A couple things. Number one, Mekhi Wingo's been playing hurt all year. And, this injury has been lingering. And, I was told before Army, it was something he's been dealing with all year that might require surgery, but it's just a question of, is he going to play through the pain? And ultimately, they made the call for him to have surgery. But Jordan Jefferson, Brian Kelly even said, is graded out has been your highest graded defensive lineman all season. Okay, so if you watch Mekhi Wingo's awesome, man. Number 18 jersey, All-American, all that stuff. But he's been playing hurt. So he hasn't been as productive. So give those snaps to someone that's playing closer to 100%. Okay. Zy Alexander's been your best cornerback. But your secondary's been really bad, man. So I don't know that it really matters. I don't know that, it's not like you're taking Derek Stingley and replacing him with a true freshman that's playing for the first time ever. The gap isn't that big from 1 to 6 in your cornerback room, if that makes sense. So I expect Alabama's going to move the ball and score a lot of points. But I think LSU's going to move the ball and score a lot of points. So I really think we're just going to see another game like we did against Arkansas, Ole Miss, Missouri, where both teams move the ball, score, and it's going to be a 4-quarter game where kind of who makes the defensive stop in the 4th quarter and who gets that final score. I think it's one of those games. All right, it's 8 o'clock. I got to bounce, y'all. Sorry for everybody I missed. Trivia, give Larry a shout out. Larry was here last. Larry is a.k.a. Lauren, my cousin Lauren, who's, we joke, is the boy that Barry, my father-in-law, never got. So Lauren, a.k.a. Larry, I'll let her know. Make defense great again. Mizzou over us. What a joke. That's the point. Who cares? These rankings don't matter one iota. Andrew. So Andrew, is it? I said it's my last name. No disrespect. LOL. It's Heacock. So is it Heacock or Haycock? Andrew Haycock. Haycock. That's what I was trying to. Anyway, Jason H. Larry came over. Yep, Larry was here last night. Tommy, hanger marks aggravate me. There we go. Started putting mine in vacuum sealed bags. Okay. All right, y'all. I think we're just about done. I got to go. It's after 8 o'clock. I'm sorry for missing. Air Force Academy will win it all this year. Now, that's Lowell's a guy that clearly follows me on Twitter. All right. Michael Guidry, have you made your prediction on LSU Bama yet? No, Michael, and honestly, man, I'm probably going to pick Bama to win it. I know y'all are going to hate me for that. But I'm honest. Listen, the reason that it gives me credibility when I pick LSU to win a game is because I'll pick them to lose, and not everybody's willing to do that. So Bama's favored, LSU's on the road, the defense is not great, and now you've got these injuries. I certainly would not be surprised at all if LSU goes and scores 38 and wins the game 38-35 or 41-38 or 41-35 or 42-38 or so. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the game plays out. What I don't think LSU can do is win a game 24-20, 21-17. Like, I don't think they can win a game like that. So I'm not going to, I don't bet the games, but if I was going to bet, I'd bet over the total, which I think is at 60 now. I just don't see how it stays under that number. So anyway, okay, I got to go. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching. It was because of Halloween, did not get LSU Daily recorded last night. My apologies. I'll get to that a little later this morning. We get you LSU Daily and, of course, AFR3. Y'all have a great day. Bye.